G'day there guys, it's Michael here and welcome to another video on how to learn and memorize the fretboard. I am going to be giving you what I think is the best exercise that you can use to actually figure out where the notes are and train yourself to find them at the drop of a hat. But in order to move forward, you're going to have had to put some effort into learning where the notes actually are. This is going to help consolidate what you hopefully already know. So if you haven't watched my previous video on memorizing the fretboard, the first one I did on it, then you want to make sure you watch that before moving forward. So in the previous lesson, I talked about finding all the notes across a single string. For example, the E string, E would be 0, F would be 1, G would be 3, A would be 5, B would be 7, C would be 8, D would be 10, and E would be 12. We also talked about the 3 rules of fretboard memorization. Rule number 1, the musical alphabet was A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. After G, it goes back to A. Rule number 2 is that E and F are buddy notes. They're right next to each other. B and C are buddy notes. They're immediately next to each other. Every other note has a 1 fret gap. And the third rule is that on any individual string, the same note repeats every 12 frets. So if E is 0, 12 will be E. If F is 1, 13 will be F as well. So I strongly recommend that you turn that into a daily exercise where basically you go along every one of the 6 strings 3 times forwards and 3 times backwards, saying the natural notes out loud so you can figure out where all the notes are. Once you've got a decent foundation of where the notes are, we can use the exercise which we're about to learn to find the notes very, very quickly. Now this exercise isn't about memorizing the fretboard. It's about training yourself to be able to find the notes quickly. Now, a natural consequence is that you will just memorize the fretboard in a week or 2 or maximum 6 weeks time. You'll know where every single note is. But the aim is not to do this hundreds of times in order to memorize it. It's to build up a habit, just like your times tables. You don't practice your times tables for an hour every single day. You do them 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. And after a couple of weeks or months, you know what your timetables are. So the name of this exercise is one note, all 6 strings. And it's just as the name says, we're going to be picking out and finding one note across all 6 of the strings. For example, here's the A notes. String 1, fret 5. String 2, fret 10. String 3, fret 2. String 4, fret 7. String 5 could be fret 12 or 0. And string 6 is going to be fret 5 as well. And what we want to train ourselves to do is to go up and down sequentially. We're not skipping. We need to find the notes in the order they appear. So we've got A, then A, then A, then A, then A, then A, and then back up again. Now what we're doing is training ourselves to find the notes quickly. And the first time you do that, it might take you a full 2 minutes to find where the notes are. That's totally fine. Go up and down once, maybe twice, and then pick out a different note. For example, the F notes. I've got an F, 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 an F, an F, an F, an F, an F. Then I pick out another note. For example, C, and C, and C, and C, and C, and C. The whole idea is we are training ourselves to find where the notes are. And at a bare minimum, what I would recommend is write down every single note that there is. Start with the naturals, of course, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, and pick out 3 or 4 of them for this practice session. Write the notes on a piece of paper, pick out 3 of them to work on, and in today's practice session, you find A and D and B, for example. Don't do them sequentially because then you're always just 1 fret higher, but mix up the order and pick out 3 or 4 of them. In tomorrow's practice session, you do a different 3 or 4. And once you get the hang of it, you start incorporating the sharp notes, or you start incorporating the flat notes. For example, we've got B flat, 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 we've got B flat. And if we want to do it with a sharp, for example, I could get G sharp and G sharp, and then G sharp, another G sharp, another G sharp, another G sharp. The idea is we're training ourselves to find out where all the notes are between the open string and fret number 12 on our guitar fretboard. So if we don't include enharmonic spelling, there are 12 notes of which we can play. You do 4 notes a day for 3 days and you've covered all 12 of the pitches across all 6 strings. If you've got more time to practice, you can do all 12 notes in a single day. It doesn't matter, you just work to whatever capacity that you want, and the more effort you put in, the sooner you will memorize the fretboard using this little exercise here. If you do this for a week, you will substantially increase your knowledge of the fretboard and your ability to find the notes quickly. If you do this for 6 weeks, you will know the entire guitar fretboard inside out. You may even find it's starting to get too easy for you. If that is the case, what I recommend is you go from fret 5 to fret number 17. So you start doing a different part of the fretboard. Then you can go from fret 9 up to fret 21. And if you happen to have a 24 fret guitar, you can go from fret 12 up to 21, 22, 23, 24, however many frets you have. Remember, you don't have to sit here and do this for hours and hours and hours. You can just pick out 3 or 4 notes, do them up and down, 1, 2, maybe 3 times tops, and then move on to the next note. Break it up, make this a 5-minute exercise you do a couple times a week, and before you know it, you'll know the entire fretboard. So if you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. That way you can keep up to date with more great content. You can also let me know in the comments anything you're struggling with or anything you'd like to see some videos for. If you guys can give me some inspiration, I would be more than happy to go out and create some lessons on the topic of your choice. Lastly, I've got a wealth of resources you can see in the video description. I have really great beginner content absolutely free, and of course I've got some intermediate and advanced concepts. My mission is to help everyday people become great guitar players. So if there's anything you're struggling with, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to help out. Thanks again.